What's cooking, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the first episode of My Kitchen Rules. We're talking Brandy and Ray J versus Lance and Diane. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's like spank things. You see, we chose this song because Ray J got the first hit in the competition tonight. And he also got the first hit in other ways too. But welcome to the first episode of My Kitchen Rules. I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, The Real OG.
That was slick. I'm Abigail Fraher, and you can follow me on all social media at Abigail Fraher.
Alright, I'm DeAnjilo. You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. Check the spelling DeAnjilo. DeAnjilo TV on Twitter and at DeAnjilo on Instagram. Do you guys know another song by Ray J besides this song?
The one I just was talking about. But I don't even know what it's called.
I feel like he had one hit, didn't he?
Like
a popular song?
It's a song called Sexy Canna. I like it.
Yeah,
yes.
I love that song.
Okay, that's it. I give him props for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to hate, it's all love here. So this is the first episode of My Kitchen Rules. It actually is originally an Australian series, but this is the first Americanized version. And of course, we take it to Hollywood.
Of course.
Where we're at right now. This is a little bit different than the typical cooking show because it's a dinner party as opposed to just cooking. In just competition. So we're judging on the whole experience, especially the food, but everything really counts. We start off in Brandy's home with Brandy and Ray J. They're brother and sister.
I feel like before we start, we should clarify. I think we should call Brandy Glanville Brandy G. Just the whole show.
Brandy with an I, Brandy with a Y.
Yeah.
Brandy.
Or I feel like I'm going to be saying like bitch more than like Brandy. For Brandy G, but
wait, what's Brandy with
Can
a
we
Y's
just call her
last
the
name?
other one and then go
Glanville.
Brandy Glanville.
Because Brandy's worth. What did we say? What did our little fact finder say? What's Brandy worth?
Brandy worth 60 mil.
60 mil. So I think Brandy gets the Brandy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we call her the other Brandy?
And then the housewife Brandy. We can call her that.
Brandy with the I is
she only
Brandy.
got a milli, so she ain't that real. Just a milli.
It's Brandy with the Brandy with the I is housewife Brandy. Yeah.
Housewife Brandy. Okay.
Housewife Brandy.
Well, I'll say I don't want to jump ahead, but like I like that they opened up with Ray J and Brandy because they appear to be the biggest personalities that we have.
They're carrying the show.
And that's probably why.
Yeah.
And obviously Lance is well known too. I mean, he's second to them, but the other people I'm not really that familiar with. I mean, Naomi.
Well, that's
I've heard of her, but
I'm a little concerned that their score. I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead a little, but their score is so low. Because I feel like if they get voted off, they're going to... I mean, like, let's be honest. They can't get voted off in the beginning because they need to hold them for viewers.
Right.
Well, they'll probably draw... It's got to last the entire season before we find out who get kicked off, right? Or do we find out as the season goes along?
As the season goes, I think, because they said this is the first round, is the dinner party, correct?
The first round, but maybe... They didn't really clarify the stakes.
Yeah.
It's not sure yet. We're not sure.
We're not sure how it's going to work, but I'm assuming that we're going to pair up because, Brandy and Randy. Let's call them Randy. Team Randy. They went first versus Lance and Diane, but I have a feeling, after the other two verse each other, we're probably going to mix and match.
Each other?
Oh, no, I think...
Not verse each other, but per episode. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I get you.
But no, I do actually think that they verse each other because they clarified, Lance and Diane were like, we only need one more point to beat out...
But I think that's so they're better than them, so that they're in the bottom.
Yeah, it's not like between the two couples, one's going to get eliminated or something. I think just for the sake of winning the episode.
After round one, then they'll... What did they say? They're getting rid of the lowest two?
Yeah.
The lowest?
You know something? I bet that from this round and next episode's rounds, the two winners may face each other.
Or something.
Something like that. That's how I'm going to guess that it's going to go, but we're just going to have to ride this out. So let's clarify the team. So it's Brandy and Ray J. They're brother and sister. We have Lance and Diane. That's mom and son. And then housewife Brandy with Dean. So this is a kind of an odd couple because they're not really a couple.
So much drama off the bat.
Yeah, but their exes are a couple.
That was funny. That was a funny way to introduce it.
Right?
I know. And that's pretty bizarre that it's kind of clever that they made them teammates, but I wonder if they're really cool in real life.
Where?
Because they said that when they were with their real couples, their original couples, the two used to like go on dinner dates and stuff like that. It's just their spouses got a little freaky on the side.
And are now married.
And now they're married.
Which is
So do you
really
think
weird.
that they are hooking up?
No.
Or?
Well, I wouldn't put it past Brandy. I mean, I feel like she'll hit anything.
Word.
You know, it's very clear that Brandy's a housewife. She acts just like one. Housewife of Beverly Hills. And she fits the part.
Right,
Looks the
like
part,
I didn't
fits
like
the
how she
part.
just started throwing shade right off the bat. However, I did think it was really catty of Brandy
to go
normal
after
Brandy.
her.
Well, to like be like, we don't have water. Like, just give her
Right.
water. Like, she honestly didn't come in trying to start drama.
She was just thirsty.
She was just thirsty.
Real thirsty. No,
She's always thirsty.
See, but I would be like that though. If I was like the way Brandy and Ray J act, I think throughout the whole episode is how I would have been. I would have been like really into it. Like, I don't know, if the judges were in front of me, there's no way I would have had a stone face. I'd have been reacting.
Yeah.
Like, people might have thought I
But
was
I mean, you
extra,
should have a pitcher
but-
of water on the table if it's gonna take you that long.
I mean, you should, but don't come up in my kitchen when I'm trying to chef it up for you.
What do you guys think about Brandy being like the chef? Because I feel like she took over and
She was just
kind of
bossing
pushed
Ray
Ray
J
J
around.
aside, but then got mad at Ray J when she didn't get great reviews.
But Ray J
She's
knows
just being
that,
a
though.
sister. I feel
Yeah.
like that's how I would react with my brother.
Yeah.
Because my mom always says, like, you know, you always bully Adam, and he would always listen to whatever you said. And that I feel like that's exactly how Ray J and Brandy are.
work, yeah.
And then we also have Andrew Dice Clay and Valerie. That's husband and wife. And then another husband and wife, Naomi and Larry. So those are the
Yeah.
couples.
Who did you guys like the most so far?
We know who you like the most. Go ahead, hit us with it.
What you mean? Oh, I did. Who? But I'm still trying to figure out everybody's name. The Elvis looking guy.
Yeah,
It was-
Andrew Dice.
Andrew Dice Clay, and then Valerie. She was cute. So
Yeah, they were my favorite
yeah,
too,
yeah.
actually.
When they
They're
have
fun.
chemistry, they look like they like
They
each
like
other.
each other.
Yeah,
I like Lance and his mom.
they were
Yeah,
cute
they're
too.
cute
They're
too.
cute.
Yeah. Least favorite. Well, I think we all have the same least favorite.
Yeah.
Which is
Brandy. Other
Brandy.
Brandy.
They're
Yeah.
just they're annoying
She's just
to
a
me.
quintessential like villain.
Well, and I hate him by association only. Like, I feel like I
Yeah.
might have liked him otherwise, but like right now I'm not really.
Like if you're
feeling
friends
it.
with her, I'm probably not.
Yeah, it's just.
We
about
probably
you.
can't hang.
Yeah, yeah.
So every team gets to make an appetizer and an entree. So for Ray J and Brandy, they chose to cook bacon wrapped prawns, which is just shrimp, bacon wrapped shrimp. And for their entree, they chose jerk short ribs and purple cabbage. Are these things that you guys have eaten before?
I don't personally like shrimp. I'm not a shrimp fan.
What?
I know. You know when we went and got pizza and there was
we
lobster
tried to
on
make
it.
her
like,
have shrimp.
But like,
too.
what about like why?
I just
The
I-
texture.
Something. Yeah, it's like very. I just.
Shrimpy.
I feel weird eating it, like chewing it. It's just a weird texture in my mouth, and I don't like that it has a tail, and it's just I'm not about it.
What if it was wrapped with bacon on top of it?
No, but I do like the only kind of shrimp I've ever eaten is like tempura shrimp. So if it's like deep fried and I can't really taste that there's shrimp there, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. To each his own, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about
but,
you?
Yeah, no, shrimp. I mean, anything wrapped around bacon is bomb, firstly.
True.
You put shrimp in it, then, I feel like I'm being healthy as well. So it's just like a...
It cancels the fat bacon out.
So
Yeah.
it's a great experience for me.
It
I'm a
looked
big fan.
good.
Yeah.
It did look good.
However, when they were baking it, that's the same thing I was thinking because I do cook.
Oh, do you?
But when they were broiling it, I was like, this is not gonna work out right. 'Cause
Right.
It just
Wait, what was the issue?
the issue is the shrimp was overcooked because they cooked the bacon
should've-
too long.
Yeah.
To get the bacon crunchy,
Wait, they had this moment in the episode, like...
they should have pan fried it.
So you
pan sear it.
pan sear the bacon before you put it in the oven? Is that what you're saying?
They
No,
said the
the
shrimp
whole
was
thing.
overcooked. But they kept
They
the
broiled
shrimp
it.
in the oven for the sake of cooking the bacon. You know what I'm saying?
And so, but that's
So
not
it
what
was
you're
cooked-
supposed to do? You're
It
supposed
was
to...
just cooked for too long.
Gotcha.
So as Kat said, she suggested that they seared it as opposed to baking it,
Right.
which
Would keep the shrimp pretty much not raw, but like it would be cooked the level shrimp's supposed to
Gotcha.
be.
See, I would have been. I'm like that guy. I'm like that's why I like him. Andrew Dice Clay. We were both would have been just like And I cook a little bit, but like there's no way I would have known to do that.
Like you put like the milk in the Cheerios.
Oh no, I eat my cereal. I eat my cereal dry.
I actually eat my cereal dry too.
Yeah.
Do you?
Like it's
Yeah, that's
dry.
very
Oh,
rare.
straight.
Soulmates, right there.
There it is.
Cute.
Anyway.
If I learned anything from the show, it's definitely going to be some cooking tips,
Yeah.
though, because
When they
now.
got into it, I didn't think it was gonna be as in depth. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
what do you like? In what way?
I like that they really like the critiques from the standpoint of like they really got into not just usually it's just like the taste, but we saw them talking about like, okay, this needs to meet the mood of it. It shows us that the judges are going to be judging more on just the general taste of it.
Right.
The only thing that was like kind of iffy was that the lady who's Naomi, she judged it based on the fact that she didn't like grits.
No, that's the second one. We're not there yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Oh.
but just for the sake of saying,
But yeah.
I think it definitely should be based on like presentation, taste, and
If you don't like something, you're not
ambiance.
gonna like that shouldn't
Exactly. It shouldn't affect somebody's score because they can't help that you don't like it. Like that's your problem.
The only critique I have on I think like the production of it is I wish that they would put what they actually use to make it on the screen.
Right.
Because I personally, like, I'm one of those people, if I see something that looks delicious, I want to pause it, write it down, and, like, when I cook, I don't use directions, per se, and, like, that's why I'm not a good baker, but it'd be nice to get ideas in your head for other things.
They do have the recipes online.
Okay.
But it would be nicer
just, you know, if they shot it on the screen so you could pause it if you wanted, or I don't know.
And just to understand when people are eating it, you know, what you don't know exactly what they're tasting, but you could be like, oh, maybe it tasted too sweet because we had too much of this.
Because I didn't even know they put soy sauce in the cabbage until Jay was saying that, you know? But yeah, the short rib looked...
It did look delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So the overall scores were basically how it works is the other contestants score based on the entire experience, whereas the actual judges score based on the dish. So they give two scores.
Right.
So for the overall experience, they got a 6, a 7, a 7, and a 6, leaving them with a 26 out of 40. I didn't really think Housewife Brandy was being very fair. No. I think that she was just a little bit salty at the other Brandy, and that affected her score.
I feel like she's definitely taking personal things into consideration. I feel like, too, like, with Brandy, is she ever really gonna, even if she really likes it, is she ever gonna give an honest score? Because I think in her mind it's a competition, which is true, but it's supposed to be an honest competition.
I was thinking about that because that leaves for a very sticky situation. Because after Brandy and Ray J go and they know their score and now they're going to Lance's house and giving them a score, I mean, how honest can you really be? Yeah. At the end of the day, it is a competition, so it gets kind of hard.
Right.
But we'll see how this plays out. As far as the judges go, they gave a 4 out of a 10. They both gave 4 out of 10s for the shrimp, and then mixed reviews 7 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 for the entree, leaving them with a 49 out of 80 as the total score. Everyone was really happy with the beef. I think the entree was the hit. They just had a little bit of trouble with the appetizer.
Right.
But Kat suggested, which I totally understand, you shouldn't go on a competition show with something that you've never made before.
Right.
And Ray J's kind of silly. He admitted that they used like a store-bought sauce.
That killed me.
That.
I was like all
you're
about
dumb.
them until that. Like, lie.
Yeah.
Make something up, man. Own
funny.
it. Like, own it.
Yeah. I was about you until you told the truth, and you lost me. So we move on to Lance and Diane's house, which was absolutely beautiful. We had it outside with a Hollywood Hill view by the pool.
Right.
So right there, they already gained points for me.
And their table setting was gorgeous.
Yes.
I'm going to be your financial correspondent. So we got Lance here, $22 million. All right? That's how much he's worth. All right. Mom, we couldn't find her on Google. But anyway, $22 million was where we at.
Benefits from that.
10 apiece.
Which, Brandy, when I saw her house, I didn't realize she was really worth that much money.
Stop faking on my girl, Brandy, all right? I'm just saying
I
that.
just don't understand where it's coming from.
Which she was balling in the 90s, and she's still getting some residuals from...
Yes, but now it's 2017. Are residuals that,
that's
like,
that's
how
what
many times can you watch Cinderella? I don't know.
Stop. Look, you put the money to the side, all right? I will have a financial discussion on our next show. But you put the money to the side, it grows, and you bring it back, and it becomes $60 million. That's exactly how it happens.
Well, whatever. I obviously need some tips from Brandy, so hit me up, girl. Let me know how you're stretching that
Word.
60 million.
Me too.
So Lance and Diane, they're originally from Mississippi, so naturally they choose Southern dishes because that's what they do best. So for the appetizers, we're doing shrimp and grits, and then for the entree, we have chicken and waffles. And I think all of that sounds delicious.
It does, but then after we watch it, I'm like, that sounds like a perfect like brunch menu.
It's a brunch menu,
not a dinner menu.
I agree. Have you guys ever had shrimp and grits or chicken and waffles?
I've had grits. I've never had shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
I love chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't be able to say this, but like I don't think I would like shrimp and grits together. Like it just doesn't seem like something that should be combined.
I always think of that, but then I also think if a chef put them together, there's a reason why they're together.
Right.
Guess,
Like they didn't just make up shrimp and grits. That's something that
That's a
goes
thing
hand
that
in
really
hand.
goes,
So obviously it must taste good if people make it and people order it.
I just feel like my black card would be revoked from saying something like, cause you know he said
It's a Southern dish.
Yeah, like I just feel like my mom's from Atlanta, so she was listening right now. She just like called me and be like, all right, yeah, just go ahead and take the card back.
Yeah,
That's it.
bye.
So
I do like chicken and waffles, but I've never tried shrimp and grits before. But I don't know. I'm assuming they're good. So they're cooking this up and they're adding some cheese to the shrimp and grits, which was a really big deal because
Yo, they added a ton of cheese.
2 cups of cheese.
Like no more, because Lance tasted it and he said add more. It's not cheesy enough. Like that's a lot. Like that's a lot of cheese. Like even if you're adding cheese and mashed potatoes or like I was like that's a lot of cheese, and they end up saying it's too cheesy. So I think he took his personal preference and kind of.
Yeah, and that's what kind of makes it hard because if you're cooking something that you just truly love and you cook all the time, you're
Right.
gonna cook to your taste and not necessarily to the taste of someone that's unfamiliar with this dish.
right.
So there was kind of mixed reviews on this. A lot of people liked it, but I wasn't really happy with Naomi's response
Me either.
because I don't think it's fair to mix her personal preference into this,
Right, yeah.
which we discussed
Yeah,
before.
yeah, I was so excited I wanted to talk about it in the last
It's
segment.
okay. I back you up 100% of the way. It just wasn't
It was a very
cool.
catty response too.
It
Like her
was.
mannerisms were very just like
And her
I don't
being
know, uppity.
her being from the South too, I was surprised by that because they present it as a really classic dish. So it caught me by surprise that she didn't like grits at all.
Right.
Yeah,
Not
it's
just
kinda
shrimp and
crazy
grits.
to not like grits, like not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Well, we couldn't really tell. Her face was kind of just like in the same area.
Her nose moved a
Shade.
little.
I mean, but yeah.
And then we move on to the chicken and waffles, which looked I thought it looked delicious. Did you think it looked delicious?
She wasn't feeling the chicken.
I
I
knew
thought the
Abby
chicken
No,
was
wasn't
bomb.
I didn't like the way they
She's
fried
like
the
it.
chicken. There was no skin on that chicken.
It almost
I like chicken with its skin on when
with
it's fried.
skin. Yeah, it
So I like
looks
to pull the skin off and it's like super crunchy and
Do you guys ever eat like chicken cutlets?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's an Italian thing, sort of, but that's what it really reminds me of because it's skinless chicken, but you know, you
Right.
breadcrumbs and fry it.
I'll
So it
say
looked good
though,
to
like
me.
if this was like I don't know, it's just
I would
kind of.
eat it.
Oh, word.
Just to clarify.
Just like this is bouncing back a little bit, but for that to have been Brandy's and like Ray J's like first time cooking shrimp and like bacon, like it looked bomb as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it
how the
looked
hell?
good.
They plated it really well.
Yeah, I kind of like am wondering if like they go behind the scenes and have some people to like for them to like when I cook something for the first time, it don't look nothing like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm impressed. I am.
But if you follow the recipe, they were probably just following a recipe, you know what I'm saying?
You can follow the recipe, but can you get the color? I mean, like the texture. It looks
Listen.
good for TV, and like that's not.
They have that
easy.
lighting though.
Where
It's all
that
lighting.
special
Okay.
food lighting.
It's special food lighting.
I
I
pay
wonder
attention
if-
to the small stuff.
I wonder if they like genuinely cook this themselves, and if they get to choose the meal themselves, or if this is something that production weighs in on.
Yeah, so many questions.
I'd like to think that they do it all
Interesting.
themselves.
I mean, I would like to think they do it
Hopefully.
all themselves, but we all work in television. We know what the reality of it is, and sometimes it just ain't reality.
Exactly.
It's true.
Ooh, that was real.
But the chicken and waffles did look good. It looked like they were having some technical difficulties with the waffles because they were looking a little soggy in the waffle maker.
Like I was saying, like I feel like the apples that was a little extra.
But they want to fancy it up because
I think they should have diced the apples also instead of doing like this. It seemed like they did like the strips.
it would have looked
And
nicer
if
with
they
the
diced
dice.
it, then that would be like way easier to cut. The
Yeah.
actual waffle, it would be smaller pieces, so you could cut it with your fork. Like those are all things I think about. I'm a texture person.
You should be on the show, obviously.
You are a texture
Yeah,
person,
I am.
but good input. I mean,
Thanks.
Yeah, that was nice.
I would eat it if there was.
It sounds good to me. Can you bring it next week?
Yeah, guys,
or-
I'll bring some in.
Yeah, we'll judge it.
All right.
What's the comedian's name again? Dice?
Andrew Dice
Andrew
Clay.
Dice Clay.
He literally goes, wee doggy. I'm not going to say I like him because I'll sound
Wee
ratchet,
doggy.
but
No, I bet you could.
Try
how
it.
do you say it?
You have an accent. Not like that.
Not
Not
his
like that.
accent,
But
yeah.
you could. You
But
could. I
I
feel like
have
you
a
could.
similar accent to him.
Not
Ooh,
that
doggy.
similar.
No.
but,
That
like,
East
I feel
Coast
like you could do
accent.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save it for later.
Okay.
I'll practice it and bring it back to you. So he thought it was delicious. It looked delicious to me, and I personally loved how they used a little garnish to drizzle the syrup
Right.
on top. I might do that
like
myself.
evergreen leaf or whatever.
Yeah, they're just like-
leaf. I don't think it's.
I
leaf,
was staring at that for a
evergreen
minute. I actually had no idea. So were they dipping it in like the syrup was in the cup
bunch.
and
Yeah,
they were
and they
dipping
were
it.
just like.
That's some sexy ass.
Right?
But that's
What?
how you get the perfect amount, because
Right.
I know when I'm making, when I'm putting syrup on my Eggos, sometimes I get a little carried away and the
that's real.
squares get too filled
right.
and then it gets soggy. It's just a huge mess. So if we drizzle it tastefully,
It works.
It works.
I like drenching my Eggos though. Like that.
You gotta
that's some
you gotta make them
bullshit.
crunchy on the outside with a little butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grill them, and they're like.
Or
There's-
if you're in a rush, you
Or
just throw it in the
put it in the
microwave.
toaster.
Oh.
Microwave.
Microwave.
Jeez,
no.
all right, that's just soggy
No.
from the beginning.
There's levels
I'm
to this,
joking.
and there's a technique to Eggo
You're not
making.
joking.
I don't
That
put it
came out way
joking.
too easy
in
for you
a
to be joking.
microwave. I put it on the
Puts Eggos in his mouth.
pan.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. All right. Anyway,
So they got overall positive reviews. From the other castmates, we came to a 30 out of a 40. All of them were similar, except for Naomi gave a 6.
Hater.
Because she's a hater and she doesn't like grits.
Right.
She's from the South and doesn't like grits. And from the judges, we got a total of 54 out of 80.
That's pretty good.
I thought they would have gotten like that. I think that shows us that it's gonna be some tough grading, like one from
Right.
the
Tough
judges
grading
and
for
from like
sure.
the competition, because everyone liked both of their dishes for the most part, other than some like small critiques, and they still only got like 5 or 6 more than Brandy and Ray J.
Right, and I thought they would blow them away, to be honest with
Word.
you.
So
It seems like everything went a lot smoother.
yeah,
But Kat brought up a good point. When you think of a dinner party, you think of something more
Yeah.
elegant or
Right.
higher class than just, some waffles. But I think they did it tastefully. I didn't see a problem
well
with
that's
it.
what
feel like
saved
they-
them.
I feel like they could have deconstructed it a little bit better to
Yeah.
be more like refined
Fancier.
if they wanted to do waffles. But I mean, this was literally like chicken on a waffle. Like you would get that at Roscoe's. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. But I've been like to some nice restaurants where they had it, but they had it on the brunch menu.
Yeah,
not
but
a
it's
dinner
also
menu.
like the way it was plated was different. Like you almost get like a kebab type thing, or you're getting some sort of like a bacon drizzle. Like there's there's a little bit of a twist, and like they threw apples in. Like that's so quintessential with a waffle.
They added that.
Like,
But
you know.
don't forget the garnish. Like they had the
the
garnish.
garnish,
garnish
saved
saved
them. The
everything.
garnish saved them.
The-
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And Kat agreed as well.
Yeah.
What
I like Kat.
I do too. The only thing that aggravates me about, which is probably like again a production thing, I hate the cliffhangers
Word.
that they give
Me
you.
too.
Before the break.
Yeah, they're like, did you think you
it's so
did
staged.
well?
Almost feels like
It
sometimes.
is.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I learned, especially this week, it's always be confident in your work. Even if you're not 100,
Uh-oh.
if you
Let's
believe
preach.
in you, they believe in you.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
And that was Ray J's problem. Curtis was like, how do you think you did? And Ray J just dumped all over his...
It's like, well, we bought the sauce.
he panicked. He
he
definitely
blew
panicked.
it. He panicked.
My
Yeah.
question is with Curtis, like none of these people are chefs. So is he judging them on an easier scale than he would judge other shows? You know,
Right.
like, what did he judge? Like, is he using the same outlines
That's a
that he
good
would use
question.
on Top Chef? Because I don't think he is.
That's an interesting
You know, I
point
think
to bring
he's taking
up.
all that into consideration. Because, like, that short rib, yeah, it was probably good, but it probably wasn't the best freaking short rib he's ever had. Like,
Of course. It's funny because typically cooking competition shows, these people are chefs.
Chefs, right.
Or want to be high-end chefs. And all of these contestants are just Hollywood
Right.
people.
Yeah.
So we don't even really know if they have the money to just eat out every single night.
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right.
saying?
Their backyards look like a restaurant.
Right. They don't need to cook for themselves. They could hire a chef to cook.
Right.
They could hire Curtis and Kat to
Easy.
cook for them.
Right.
I don't know if Brandy Glanville could.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, let's not go
it's
that
only
far.
$1 million.
Yeah.
That's her net. That's her net too.
so we
that
don't
means
know
that's
what
like everything.
I mean, Brandy and
every
Ray J
asset.
gonna be
They'll
good,
be
but
okay.
Brandy Glanville, she can hire me.
She's got to cook herself.
I could probably.
Yeah,
I could,
she could probably cook herself.
I'll throw the Eggo in the microwave for her.
Have you seen her on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
Like, what is her role? Why
Yeah.
is she on there? What does
She's
she
the
do?
poor friend,
Oh, she is.
basically, and she's crass and.
So we don't know is the answer.
So
She brings the drama.
well, that's
Well, she's
very
doing
clear
that for our show
because
as well.
yeah, she brings all the drama on the
She
show
looks
as
awful,
well.
to be honest. No, I'm
As
sorry
most
because
of the
I'm
Beverly
watching.
Hills
Like no,
Housewives.
but no. Like that plastic surgery is ratchet that she has going on right now. I mean, her face. She
I-
looks
I do
different. She looks
agree.
different than she did on the Real Housewives. Like it's
Really?
overly. She's gone above and be like.
Unfortunately,
She's
that's
giving Naomi a run for her money, and Brandy's what, half her age probably.
I know, but Naomi,
I know I'm hating. I'm not
Naomi
trying to
isn't
hate,
looking
but-
Being real
too
though.
I am.
looking too hot herself. Is there anything that you guys would have done differently in the cooking? Like, you wanted to slice up the apples.
I think that's really. I mean, because I don't like shrimp, so I can't really say much about the shrimp dishes. But the short rib, I'm not. I like rice, but I like rice with like typical Chinese food. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would do rice with short rib. Like with short rib, I like like a mashed potato or a potato
yeah.
au gratin or like
Some
a sandwich
carbs in there.
Like I love pulled like short rib sandwiches are delicious. Short rib tacos are delicious. Like I don't know if I would have done rice, but
Right. I agree. I think potatoes would have been more
Yeah.
appropriate.
But again,
a
like
good one. Yeah, I
they
didn't
do
think
have
about
short rib. I
potatoes.
think at like Korean restaurants and Korean barbecue and stuff. They
Yeah.
do short rib there, so I get that serving it with rice. But I think I would like it better not.
Well, it's tough being first too.
And cabbage. I feel like cabbage and rice is weird. Is that
Oh,
me?
the purple. Well, they liked
Is
it
that-
though. They seem
yeah.
to like it at least.
I
a
never
little
ate
bit.
cabbage before.
Yeah.
So
What? Never?
Never.
never had cabbage before.
Oh, girl.
Guys, I'm a really picky eater. To be honest with you, I've never. You're gonna think this is so weird, but I never had short rib either.
What do you eat?
Up until a couple years ago, I would eat like
So
pizza
we're gonna have
and
to-
like chicken fingers.
Bruh.
We're like
What?
paranoid. So we're gonna cook for you,
You
and
poor
No, but
soul.
since I've
I'm
gotten
ordering
older,
for you on Sunday.
my
She's just trying
palate
to get us
has
to cook for her.
expanded.
Right.
No, and I'm a good cook too, but I'm Italian.
But how
so
do you know if
growing
you-
up, my mom would
So
cook.
only Italian food.
Okay.
My mom would cook, eggplant, meatballs, sausages, pasta,
Right.
cutlet.
You saved,
Okay, I'll give
you
you a
saved
pass.
yourself.
I'll give you a pass.
You saved yourself. You back.
Yeah.
So I have an expanded palate just in other areas.
Just,
Hit
you
it with
know,
the extended palate.
You know what I'm
palate.
saying?
What you know? What's kind of unfair. Ray J and Lance and Brandy and all of them had to go first. Everyone can learn from their mistakes.
Right?
True.
It's like the last person's probably gonna get, but maybe they'll judge harder because they're learning from those things. I
It
don't know.
should be,
I also
yeah.
don't know. We don't know how this was shot. We don't know if this was shot within a 2-day period and
Yeah.
they just changed clothes. Like we have no idea.
Yeah.
Right. How do you predict that the other contestants are gonna do?
You wanna go first?
Well, I'm rooting for Andrew Dice Clay in his bay.
But they don't strike me as good cooks.
I think we're gonna get like cheeseburgers with them. That's what I would predict, like as a
If the
meal.
cheeseburgers are good,
But if it's
so
good,
what?
yeah. But like,
Well,
I don't think
it's
Andrew
all
Dice
about-
is knowledgeable about
I think
anything.
it's all about chemistry. We've learned that, like Ray J and Brandy, like brother and sister type chemistry. So it was a little choppy. Lance and his mom, they
Very
like
coddling
and they
and
had more
yes,
chemistry,
yeah.
and it came out better. So I think whoever has the best chemistry will be a little better. So I think Brandy, the other Brandy,
Mm-hmm.
and Dean. We don't know. It's going to be really revealing when we see like what they're like.
I predict it's gonna be like
it's gonna
a
be a
shitstorm,
mess.
but I could be completely thrown off and it could go like wonderfully.
No?
Right, but
Yeah.
they don't. Neither of them strike me as good cooks
people
either.
that
No,
cook.
I don't think
I
so
feel like
either.
Naomi and Larry actually are gonna be great.
Well, they got the seniority.
I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be all right.
Larry knows to always agree with her. That's why they get along. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Right.
But he always had a
Yeah.
different number, and then they always would agree. So
And I think the husband and wife dynamic would work
And they've been
better.
married for so long.
Right.
They know like what works and what doesn't.
I mean, especially compared to the brother and sister, you know,
Yeah.
that leaves
Right.
more room for fighting and bossing around. Whereas if you're a couple, it's more of a team.
Yeah.
So
And it's
it
like
could
let
work
the
out better.
wife
And that's the
choose.
only reason I'm saying that Andrew Dice Clay, they have great chemistry.
They do.
So I
They
think-
do have really good chemistry.
So I think there's a chance if he allows her to make the, because I feel like she's a little bit more classy than, a lot more classy than him, and so she'll make some better food decisions.
Let's not be extreme.
Hopefully
Comparatively,
Maybe.
I said hopefully they get some chemistry in the kitchen.
I don't want to see that.
No, I'm
You
saying.
wanna see
that was
that?
nasty.
You want to see that? You
I
wanna see
wasn't even being nasty. I was being legit. They probably have chemistry in the kitchen.
Word. All right.
I'm gonna wait to see. I might have to cover my eyes.
Okay,
on that.
wait, but I want to ask you guys. So we got for Dice, we're thinking cheeseburgers.
Yes.
For what are we thinking for Naomi?
I think we're gonna get some sort of a. See, I want to say they're gonna do bougie, but I'm like, she is kind of a country bumpkin, so we might get something like, you know, like a pork chop or something.
But is she? She don't like grits. She
But
can't.
that's what I'm saying. So then I'm thinking like maybe we'll get like a fillet or like some sort of a. I don't know.
Yes, it's
I
such
don't
a hard
know.
guess,
Okay.
yeah.
Brandy, I have no clue. I have.
What does she strike you as?
They gonna be bougie. They gonna be the bougie ones.
But but it's not gonna work.
They're gonna
Yeah,
toss
it's gonna
in
be
some
bad.
Eggos.
Yeah.
She's
Eggos
gonna be
in the
like, let me find a
microwave.
recipe for something I cannot afford when I. Go
I
out
think
with my
they'll be the
friends.
ones
And-
voted off. Like I think
Yeah.
they'll be worse than Ray J and Brandy.
I do too.
But
Yeah.
again, for viewing, I feel like one of the first couples to go, as far as because the viewers that they would bring in, I feel like Naomi and Larry or Andrew Dice Clay and Valerie are going to be one of the first two to go
Because
because
at
I think
least
the other three are very pop culture
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
for viewers. But that's also, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe they're actually going to be honest with the show.
Maybe.
Right, and this show's on Fox. It's not on VH1 or something.
Right.
So
There's a
that's-
lot of an older crowd too. Probably.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The demo is a lot different.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out. Well, that's a wrap, I
everything.
think.
So that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be here next week.
You're not going to be
No,
here
I'm
next
going to be in
week?
Chicago.
Word.
So you guys will have to like hold it down.
Well, let us
me
know how the food is in
I'll,
Chicago.
like
Send us a
live
deep
chat
dish.
you guys or something. Yeah, bring some deep dish back for everybody.
please.
Some pizza since we know that's something you
Yes,
do like.
thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking of me. All right, guys, thank you for joining us on our first episode of My Kitchen Rules. Again, I'm Olivia Gabaree. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, The Real OG.
Thanks guys for joining us. You can follow me on all social media at Abigail Fraher.
Thanks, guys. Yo, hit me
gonna
up
say
on
thank
Twitter,
you.
on Instagram. I'm DeAnjilo. That's DeAnjilo. Always check the spelling. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Why y'all laughing at
I'm
my
gonna make you a
tagline?
sign.
Check the
I'm just gonna make you a
spelling.
sign.
We'll
Hold
give you a
on, hold
name
on.
tag
My
next
mom
time.
was creative, so I need to explain how to
Yeah,
spell
for
it.
sure.
I
you
respect
know?
the creativity.
I mean, I'm not Olivia or Abigail, so.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
Bye guys.
Yeah, sorry guys, bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.